Travel has been difficult, if not impossible today, Brenda. We have team coverage tonight in Sherman and Ardmore.
Yeah, Caroline Cluiss is in Ardmore, but we also have Lauren Rangel. She's in Sherman. She's been keeping an eye on the roads there all day. So, Lauren, what are you seeing out there tonight?
Yeah, Brenda and Jeff, earlier this afternoon, we saw quite a few cars trying to tackle this stretch of Highway 75, particularly for these conditions. And while we were driving, trying to get video today, we noticed that all those cars were starting to melt that ice, turn it into slush. Just within the last hour, we have seen traffic kind of start to slow down. And one of the things police say that they're worried about or keeping their eyes on is all that slush may actually turn to ice overnight, and that could keep them extra busy. Sherman police say it's seen about 30 accidents caused by this ice and even more motorist assist calls. Last we heard was about 40. Denison police say they too are seeing accidents, but most of their calls are related to people getting stuck on the ice and needing help gaining traction. I've seen dozens of TxDOT trucks today treating major roadways, including Highway 75, but it tells me conditions are deteriorating in Grayson, Hunt, and Fannin counties. The department says it tried to get out ahead of the storm by beginning to treat the roads over the weekend, and it will continue to do so as needed during the storm. Still, first responders are encouraging residents to stay off the roads if they can.
If you don't have a reason to go out, I'd stay in. I mean, schools are shut down right now. And for the most part, I think people are abiding by that. But we realize that there are some folks that have to get out. But when you do, we just ask that you go slow.
Well, Chief Gojo adds that if you are one of those people that do have to get out tonight or tomorrow, remember that speed is not your friend, and you want to make sure that you're keeping enough distance between you and other vehicles. And I'll tell you, even just trying to drive to work this morning, I ended up getting stuck on a hill off of FM 691 and Texoma Parkway. A truck in front of me passed me, went up. I saw him start to skid and then get stuck. I got stuck at the bottom and had to reverse my way around to get onto Highway 75 that had already a lot more traction because it had seen those drivers and salt trucks. But conditions are slowly just getting a little bit worse by the hour. Caroline, how are things looking for you on the other side of the Red River tonight?
Hey Lauren, I'm here in Ardmore just outside of our bureau here, and just beyond this field right here on I-35 is where ODOT says the worst conditions are, some of the worst in Oklahoma. They're calling it extremely slick and dangerous. So we took some footage of that area on our tower cam today. So let's start out with a clip of what not to do. So rule number one is, of course, to slow down. And as you see, not everyone is doing that, so you should stay home if you don't need to get out. If you do, try and plan out your route ahead of time. Make sure you have a full tank of gas before you get too far from home. Ardmore police say they've worked 5 crashes in the past 24 hours. Now they're operating under whiteout conditions, meaning they aren't responding to minor crashes, but OHP will, so if you get stuck, you can call them and they will come and get you. ODOT recommends running the heat for 10 minutes every hour to conserve gas and keep yourself warm. But let's make sure you don't get stuck, okay? You can check out road conditions on okroads.org. That database shows how bad the roads are across the state, and it even includes some pictures that people have uploaded of the roads too. Here in Ardmore, the local homeless shelter, the Grace Center, has been full all day long. They brought out cots last night to house more people, and they're expecting a full house tonight too. They will stay open both day and night until the freezing temperatures are gone. And as I mentioned earlier, OHP is remembering Trooper Nicholas Dees today. He was killed 8 years ago today by a driver who was texting instead of looking at the road. So they're asking you to stay off of your phone in his memory today. And it's always a bad idea to be on your phone when you're driving, right? But especially right now when it's icy and you really need that extra seconds to be able to brake if you need to. So let's keep your phone put away and let's stay home if we can. Live in Ardmore, Caroline Cluiss, News 12.
All right, thank you, Caroline. You can see her hands just shaking out there. It's quite cold, so please stay indoors if you can. So
Well, if only this was the way things were going. This is actually an exception, not the rule. A little sliver of sun. Jeff mentioned that a moment ago here on our live Holiday Inn Ardmore Tower Cam. And just a brief break in the clouds, a little bit of dry air had caused the precip today to kind of wane, but it's picking back up already, and we expect it to get a whole lot worse, folks. This is definitely going to be one that I would say just stay off the roads unless it's an emergency tomorrow. It's going to be really rough out there. So what's happening is the potential for ice is increasing overnight with freezing drizzle tonight, really getting rough as heavier freezing rain moves in the morning, and the roads are definitely on the chalkboard to get worse, way worse before they get better. And you can see we're not the only ones. Huge area of winter storm warning. That's the pink color here for much of Texas and into Southern Oklahoma. We also have that winter storm warning, including all of our counties in the News 12 viewing area. Now, yesterday we talked about this going until noon on Wednesday. Well, because the air is running colder and the whole system is moving more slowly, we now have that winter storm warning extended until 6 a.m. Thursday. So even tomorrow night, there's a chance we'll have to deal with more frozen precip. But if you can take the long view, Thursday and Friday, things will start to improve. Now, tonight, Max Radar is showing a large area of light freezing drizzle has developed over the last couple of hours from Sherman and Pottsboro northeast to Hugo and Antlers. Nothing heavy here, but just enough to cause that very fine additional glaze of ice. So some of the roads did melt off today, but tonight those bridges are already starting to ice up. And again, even on the big roads, things are going to be getting tough, and boy, tomorrow especially. Now, off to the south and west, another large area of freezing drizzle and some embedded heavier freezing rain. That's also, as you can see, moving in our general direction. So overnight, several of these periods of frozen precip will continue, and boy, it's cold. Now, thankfully, the wind has eased a little bit. Even a 10-mile-per-hour wind, though, really cuts through you with these temperatures that are in the mid-20s. Everybody kind of in the same boat here. 26 Paris to 25 Sherman and Denison. Good evening in Medill. You're 25 degrees, 23 in Antlers and Clayton and Ada with some snow on the ground there. You're 23 degrees right now. And you can see on the big view, I showed you this last night, just really a very impressive picture with the high pressure over the Gulf, low pressure off the west coast of California, and like two gears and a big transmission in between there. It's just grinding that moisture right up through Texoma, and there's the big disturbance. This is really the cat's meow, if you will, on this whole winter storm. So this evening, again, light frozen precip will continue on and off, shown by the purple and the blue here. We'll start to see it really increasing, though, about sunrise, and watch the bottom of your screen as the main slug of energy comes in with increasing freezing rain here, and a lot of this is going to be definitely accumulating on trees and power lines, something to be very concerned about tomorrow. Right now, we're not under an ice storm warning, but it's going to be borderline, something we'll have to just kind of follow as we get into tomorrow. One thing's for sure, it's cold enough in the morning for everything to stick, and the big question will be, how long will it stay below freezing? Latest models aren't offering a lot of hope here, showing high temperatures generally staying under 32 degrees. If that happens, that would just really make that ice potential a lot worse. I do think by Thursday, though, we're at least in the upper 30s. Now, here's a brand new map just updated here on potential ice totals. So anywhere in the darker shading, a quarter to a half inch of ice accumulation. Now, that would be not only on roads, but on trees and power lines as possible. A half inch would be borderline for a major ice storm, but still generally underneath what I would call a major event, definitely a moderate event. Some tree limbs could break off. There could be some scattered power failures if this happens. In the 1/4 inch ice area, more just really serious travel problems and less damage. So how does all this compare to 2 years ago? Well, the cold is definitely less. We set all-time record colds 2 years ago. The hours below freezing continuously is less. Electric problems, we hope, will be a lot less. I mean, last time it was just an absolute disaster, at least on the Texas side. But here's the big difference. The travel issues this time, much worse than they were in the snow of 2 years ago. So bear that in mind. And we're just getting started really on the travel problems. Freezing drizzle and freezing rain overnight, 24 degrees. The big event as far as the heaviest precip and the most ice happens tomorrow from about 8 in the morning till mid-afternoon. Now, things do warm up. Look at this, 55 degrees by Saturday, so there's that to look forward to, and we'll be right back.